special as it falls on our Independence Day. A very happy 74th Independence Day to all. I feel it is a very apt topic to discuss today: youth as a change agent. Normally, people relate change agents to catalyst, but I would like to set a definition for our understanding. Catalyst normally burns itself to aid out a process, but I would like to symbolize the change agent as a drop of buttermilk, which, when added to a pot of milk, converts the whole pot into yogurt or curd. This will also be the role of a change agent where one grows and multiplies people around to grow for a cause and create a beautiful nation. So, this program is presented by NGPL, Next Gen Political Leaders, a NGO to nurture young political minds in our country. And we have Presence, a national monthly e-sign since 2006, started to promote positive journalism as our knowledge partner. Today's expert, Mr. Natarajan Raman, fondly called as Dreams Nata, is well known among the youth of our country. His role as an exemplary professional, a family man, and as a change agent is the main reason for us to have him on our show. He works with over 5,000 children every single year in mentoring and grooming them, and he's been doing this for the past 2 decades. He has volunteers in his NGO who are working in corporates as full-time employees, and yet they volunteer, and thus there is zero admin cost towards all the proceeds that goes towards the children, and the beneficiaries receive 100% of all the charity being done, donations being done. That is such an exemplary work, sir. Also, he's an IT professional who has over 15 plus years of global expertise in software design, development, and implementation. He's the co-author of the book Learning Kotlin by Building Android Applications, and he heads the Cognitive Engine division and leads all the social initiatives of Patterns, an IT firm. He also has so many awards and accolades that he's bagged for his professional excellency, and I can go on and on about him. It is such an honor to have you on our show, Natasha. I can't
Thank
wait to
you.
start with the questions.
Thank you. Happy
So,
Independence Day, and thank you so much.
happy Independence Day. So, my first question for you: what motivated you to be a change agent, and how do you continue to be so?
Yeah, when you talk about what motivated to start something for the society, I will have to take to you to the year 2002 when I was in the college, NIT Jaipur. Uh, that's when I got a chance to read the book Wings of Fire by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And in that book, he writes about the journey that he had in his life. And then in the final stages of the book, he writes in the last page, he says, by the norm of this society, by the norm of this civilized society and all this, where people talk about having, family, having kids and all that. I don't have any of this, okay? But God will definitely ensure that the love that is from me will be taken over and spread across. So we were like, wondering how a person can be like this, and we were just thinking how is it possible to, as a person exists like this. Unfortunately, the very next week we got to know that Kalam sir was visiting a school in Jaipur called Saint Xavier's. So, four of my friends, we thought, it's an opportunity for us to go and meet and take his blessing. And, thanks to God, and we got a chance and we met him. So when we met him, we asked him few questions and took his blessing. It was a great moment, which really made us feel that if you look at the short span of time, we read the book and in a week's time we could meet him. So that also tells that if you really want something in this life, right, always people say the whole universe conspires towards it. I firmly believe in that, and it is what has made us, took us to Dr. Kalam. And that was in the year 2002. And then we decided that there is something that we have to give back to the society because there are great people like this. Because always if you see, ma'am, what we have seen is we talk about leaders, take great leaders like Gandhi, Nehru or Patel, or you talk about Kamarajan. We never had a chance to be in the same era with them. But if you talk about Dr. Kalam, we're very fortunate to see someone facing all the challenges that we face in life. Like a normal man that we face, yet remaining a leader. That's where Dr. Kalam inspired so many people, and very fortunately, we could start Dream India. And in the year 2008, right, that's when we got a second opportunity to actually meet Dr. Kalam. That was in Raj Bhavan. We met along with our Action 2020 team. So, where we could meet Sir. That's the photograph that you saw where, people meeting and then taking his blessings. So Kalam sir, the best thing about that meeting that I remember is the email that that we wrote to Dr. Kalam sir, giving the snapshot of whatever that we have, the experience that we had. So Dr. Kalam, reading through that entire blog, he replied back saying that, dear Sri Natarajan Raman, what I have been doing is I've been going across the country. I've been to many places. I've met many students, and for the first time on the day, that is 25th of July, where I really saw the youth of the country saying that I can do it and doing it in action. So I think that's a great testimonial that we received from the great man himself, and that is how every each and every day, that's what keeps motivating us and go forward. And the second picture that you saw is about meeting of Dr. Kalam with Vasantam children. Vasantam children's meeting is also happened in Rajbhav.
Wow. I'm actually speechless. This is amazing. So you've met Kalam sir twice and having such a close interaction, I think. Yeah, it's something really close to, cherished to our hearts. So normally people think of high impact activities to help many and then they end up doing nothing. So what is the key to create momentum, Nata sir?
So high impact activity. So if you talk about that's a very valid point that you brought in, because people always think that bringing in change. When you talk about bringing in change or change agent as such, people think that they are going to be someone great. They are just ordinary people, normal people, nothing much fancy, nothing it's about doing something and starting something at a very basic level whom we work with. So it was a girl called Ponni, and she hails from Madurai. She hails from that village, and her mom was trying to get admission into an engineering college.
Yes, I can hear you now, sir. Yes. I think we have some bandwidth issues going on as well, today being Independence Day. So, you know, I think your volume's
Yeah,
muted or I can't hear you, sir.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Great.
So
Thank you.
I apologize to audience because today is Independence Day and I know there are so many viewers, looking forward for this show. And I'm sure so many of your own, students and the mentees are watching this show. So you're also responsible for the lag.
Yeah, thank you. You start with a small thing, and then you take forward. That's where the whole thing is about. So we decided that when Ponni achieved the success that she wanted to do in life, Dream India was achieved for her. So it is not about doing something big. I, you know, I It's not about taking, 200, 300 children and then making things for everyone. The change that we want to bring is before we start something small, and the small thing is about, bringing the change for at least one family. So that is where I want to
So I
hello.
again, there is some lag happening. I really apologize. Like I can't hear you quite clearly. So maybe I might request you, if you can log out of the other devices that you have, so that there is one single device having complete bandwidth. I would appreciate that. Maybe I think there are multiple devices connected at home as well, perhaps. I'm not sure. So, if you can kindly log those devices out, because it's a very important message that you're sharing, for our audience. And somewhere I feel, yes, with lagging and stuff, the message might be lost. Because I seriously feel having change agents, it is a key for today's environment, like today's world, be it in our country or anywhere in the world. So we don't want to miss the beautiful messages you're sharing, Natasha, and that is the reason I requested for you to, log out of other devices.
Yeah, sorry. Am I back now again, madam? Sorry about that.
Yes, you are back. All good. Not to worry. It
Thank you.
happens.
Thank
All
you.
good. As I told, your mentees would also be responsible for this, so many people watching. So all
Yeah,
good. So I'll repeat the question again so that I completely understand. We might have lost the flow. So I'll repeat the question one more time. So yes, my question goes that we talk about high impact activities all the time, and people end up doing nothing because they feel, yes, whatever they do, it's not, they're not satisfied, and it should be sustainable as well. So what are your thoughts about that?
yeah. When we talk about high impact activities, what people usually think is that I need to do something really great, because they get inspired by certain things and certain incidents that they see in life. So what I practically believe is in the quote that Mr. Mahatma Gandhi, great our Mahatma Gandhi ji made, hesitating to act because you think that what you are doing is insignificant, or others do not believe in it yet, is the biggest problem that actually stops any progress. So we need to start something small, and that small is about, when you talk about Dream India, people keep asking us, do you think really Dream India will happen in your lifetime? It may not really happen in my lifetime, and I know that, it is, everybody knows that. But what is Dream India? Dream India is all about, bringing the change for at least one family. So that's where I was talking about this kid called Ponni, and how a street vendor selling idlis, living in a Madurai village, and then she wanted to pursue engineering, a Tamil medium student, and you will not believe, when she got into this engineering college in the very first year, she could not really fare well. But with the constant support and the mentoring, she became first topper in the second semester, and then she passed out of wonderful way. And as I told you, the entire universe helps. And when she graduated, we had our corporate people who supports. Lasersoft was a great company. She got placed there. Mr. Suresh Kamath, took her for a job, and the entire family's things changed totally. So the Dream India is achieved. It was achieved for that particular family. That's where I talk about bringing in changes at a small package, which can actually become a huge one.
Beautiful. And actually, I noticed a point when you mentioned about, you know, a student from government school and from Tamil medium. So, what I've observed, like, is mostly, you mentor so many students who are mainly from the government school background, and they will have their regional language, be it Hindi or be it Tamil, their regional language. So how different do you think the IQ levels of the students are when you compare with the private school students?
That's an excellent question, actually. If you talk about, in a year we work with close to about 13 government schools, and there are various homes that we work with. So there are two things that we have to be clear about. One is we are talking about the IQ levels of the children, and the other thing is where their education level is. So if you talk about the IQ level of the children, definitely reading in the mother tongue helps them to learn much better, and it's a great thing. But what about the education level as such? If you see, the quality of education or the standard, I would say has to really improve, because if the quality of the education that is provided was great, then everyone should be enrolled in the government school. That is what is not happening. So the new education policy that is being brought in, addresses this and improves the quality of this. I sincerely hope that it happens, man.
Wow. Okay, so it's not much different. So students are students. And
Yeah.
I should have expected this reply because you having Kalam sir himself as your mentor. So definitely there is no partiality. Thank you. So apart from mentoring, the needy children, you were also mentioning about the Vasantham project where you're working with mentally challenged children. So how was your experience and how did this whole concept start?
Yeah, if you talk about Vasantham is something that is very close to everyone in Dream India and Action 2020, and anyone who comes and visits the children. So they are special children of God. And when you talk about Vasantham here, we are very fortunate that my family, we get to live with the children day in and day out. So the biggest thing that I see about these children is back in 2008 when we started, working with these children. They were, focusing on a lot of things which related to the therapy, like motor therapy, make them physically active, all those. But we wanted to bring in a small thing about how to break them inclusive education, the idea of giving them a stage. And we always felt one thing that the children, most of the times what happens is people think the limitation what I have is going to be the limitation for the children. That is not the right thing actually. The children's, they have much more, far more things, compared to anyone else in the world. So sky is the limit for them. So what we found was when in 2008 these children started participating in the inter-school competitions with other government school children and the other normal mainstream children. They were just participating, and then now in 2019, that is after 11 years, in the last event that we had, where we had 9 schools, different schools, and about 250 children participate, they won the overall championship in quiz, in elocution, in essay. So that shows that the limitations, whatever that we have, is on us, and we try to impose it on the children. So we are very proud to be working with Vasantham children. And the moment is a
Wow.
great moment where we met Dr. Kalam, and got his blessings.
And how was their reaction, sir, when these children saw Kalam, sir? So how was the reaction from both of them? Because I would say the picture speaks thousand words. I can see astonishment in few faces. And how did Kalam sir react? And how did the children take it?
It was an unbelievable moment, to be quite honest. Even now, when I think about it, I feel so happy and elated because it's a lifetime, once in a lifetime opportunity, to meet her. And then the greatest thing about him is, we had very few minutes. In fact, it was about 5 to 7 minutes, because he was rushing to the other program. He was already late. But the moment he saw the children, the sir's love, he stopped and then he said, "What is it?" And one of the children, Gayatri, she had written something for him. So he asked, "Can you read this for me?" And when he asked that, she was, struggling. Then he asked a teacher to go over. He said, "You repeat after me," and then he repeated. And you asked me about what was the impact. It's something that I wanted to tell because I was my wife was carrying at the time, and this Gayatri, what she did was she named the kid to be born as Abdul Kalam. Actually, that's a kind of sir left. And when Kalam sir passed away, it was a very sad moment. The kids were all in tears. So when we look back today, the 5 minutes time that we got with Kalam sir is something that keeps motivating us for career. And Vasantham
Cherishing
children,
lifelong.
yeah, cherish, and Vasantham children is an amazing thing because no ego, they are pure love, no expectations. They don't hate you, or they don't have anything like to talk behind or to get anything out of you. You see pure love in them, and they don't care. They don't care about it to impress anyone or anything. That's a best thing about the children. And when they saw Dr. Kalam, they just felt so happy, and anytime they see him, they feel elated.
Wow. Because the picture speaks it all. They are astonished, they are so happy, and
Yeah.
you're actually making my day. It's beautiful. And also, Natasha, there is a conception that normally people think, okay, volunteering, being a student or being a single, it is very easy to do volunteering. And there is something like normally that goes to the head that, oh, married people, when you have family, it is quite hard to volunteer or to spend time for the society. But you, being a professional, being a father, and running a NGO parallelly, so how are you able to do all that together?
I got to
You've
say,
broken that myth, I should say.
I got to say it's all because of people, well-wishers, and family. Because without any of them. For example, if you take the way how my life is surrounded today, it's all because of Dream India. I owe it to Dream India because and Dr. Kalam. And without family or the professional support that I receive at my workplace, or my people like Mr. My mentors. I have my mentors whom I look up to, like Mr. Suresh Kamath, Mr. Srinivasan sir, and then Santosh Babu sir. I have these people who keep inspiring us day to day, and then gives us a lot of inspiration. They keep, whenever there is something that I feel something is not right. These people come through, and here I have to make a special mention about two people who really make things possible for me. And I think I'm blessed in the way where these two people are there to impact my life 24/7. When I talk about this 24/7, I am at home. I stay with my mother-in-law, Miss Ali Murugesan. She is someone who has given her life for the children itself. I have not seen someone in my life, at least, where they put the children first, and the special children, and live with them. I at home I always see her doing that, giving the preference to them and putting the children first. And I take my bag and I walk through and I reach office. There I see Mr. Kamath, okay, Mr. Suresh Kamath. There I see one more person who has achieved so much in life, yet he remains humble. He says, puts people first and does things for them. I feel so little in front of them. I see that these are the people, two people who keep day in and day out, because there are a lot of challenges, as you said. It's not easy. There have been frustrations. There have been situations where I felt like, what is it? How do I really take it forward? And that's when I get this opportunity to talk to them. Both of them are more like mentors and friends. Where that's why I said I'm very blessed to have 24/7 two people who keep saying that, look at what can I give. It's not about what you have to take out of it. So they just keep saying that keep going, keep going. No, and of course the greatest guru of all, our Kalam sir. And I also like to talk about one more person who made a great impact in my life, and that is Mr. Srinivasan sir. What happened was I was in a situation in one point in my career where I really wanted to see what should I do. And whenever there was a critical situation or a decision that I have to take in my life, he stood like a father. He's like a father to me. He said, Nata, this is the way, I think is the right thing for you. So, someone being there, for you. Because the biggest thing that I've seen is people, with due respects, okay, people can give money. Giving money is one part of, donating and then saying that I can, but giving time, right? Time is the most precious thing. And if someone can give you the time and the comfort and the pat on the back saying that, this is the right way to go. I think I'm blessed that way, man. And that's what is taking me. And I have to thank, my parents, of course. They let me chase my dreams. They never said no to anything. And of course, my wife and kids, they are the ones who take the biggest toll. Whenever I have to travel, because we travel, every month we have to at least go to one rural school. That's what we do. So if you're working with 13 different schools, in a month we have to do at least one program where we go. So there are times when they miss me, but I think when you look at the joy and of the children, because you are missing two kids at a particular day, but if you go there, you are reaching about 300 children, and the smile on those 300 children brings you so much of joy. And when you look at what people have done, the sacrifices, it's nothing actually. So that's what keep going. And I would like to thank my colleagues who are working with me, parents, and my friends, Dream India friends, and everyone.
Wow. So 13 schools and just 12 months left, right?
Yeah.
I wish you have 13 days in your calendar, Natasha. So you also, mentioned about workplace, and I did, hear the point where you talked about the challenges. I'll come to that next. But while talking about workplace, so how to create positive impact in workplace, and how can we involve our workplace to, be part of the positive change that we are into, Natasha?
That's a very important question, especially when you are running a part-time NGO like us, because it's a 17th year we are into, and we have been able to sustain. So I think everything in life is about taking a decision, making the right choice in life. Sometimes life gives you different kind of opportunities and choices. At that particular point of time, you have to really see what drives you and then make the right choice. I've been fortunate that way to make a choice and go and be under the mentorship of Mr. Suresh Kamath. I keep talking about him time and again because we all in the circles we talk about him as a little Kalam. That's how we refer Mr. Suresh Kamath as, because the impact that he has created in the society, like 400 differently able people being enabled as engineers, all that, and then yet remaining humble. That's the most important thing. So that's where I feel having workplace leadership like that. Every time when we get into a meeting, the first point that the mission that being put forward is, how are we going to create opportunities? How are we going to grow this company? Not for ourselves. The question is not how am I going to become much more haves and haves and haves. The question that Kamath sir put forward to us is, how many people we are going to serve, how many people we are going to reach. And that's when we feel that when you have a leader like that, right, who really walks the talk, remaining humble, making things simple, and he keeps saying time and again, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, right? If I have to reach a particular place from one to the other, I have a choice of going in a BMW or going in a normal car or walk or auto. So if I have to take an auto, thereby there are two more people who can come with me. That is the choice that we have to make, is what he tells us. I think the gap between haves and have-nots is the biggest problem that we have today. So there is required, someone will have to be there and then say that how do I reduce this gap? It is not going to happen overnight again. So each of us can take small steps and then see how it can be achieved. So workplace is very important. My colleagues are main reasons why we continue Adyar Corporation School. This moment, I would like to thank each one of them, because I think it's two-way actually. When you see, when you go and work with the children, they give a lot of joy to you, right? Almost all the my colleagues in patterns, they come and teach Adyar Corporation School children now. They take turns and we follow. They come and participate in the classes. Now the Adyar Corporation School children also give back a lot of things, not materialistic. The love that they give, the affection that they give, I think it connects them and bonds them well. And it is so inspiring that our colleagues, children, small kids, like Sai Srinath, he's a small kid studying in third standard or something. He comes and teaches the Adaya Corporation School, and then he tells them his experiences. He shares what he sees in the school. So it is a chain, and I think that's how the inspiration keeps going, man.
Beautiful. And now, talking about involving workplace, what are the challenges that normally that you faced in initial days, or what are you still continuing to face, Natasha?
Challenges, yes, no. As much as we talk about the rosy side, challenges are always going to be there. I want to be candid, because and share few things where where we are having challenges about how to run an NGO and part time. One of the things is when you do things, you are trying to wear multiple hats. There are times when you'll have to be really time pressured, and you'll have to do certain things in certain way, though you do not want to. So what happens? For example, let me give an example. Last week when we were working with one of the important customers, a kid calls, and then she talks about, she's calling from a village called Kurunjipadi, and then she has applied for a scholarship. So I had two choices. One is that I pick up the call. I know I have to meet a deadline. Okay, she calling me now. How do I handle this? I keep repeating myself that these children are having a hope from somewhere. They are calling you. So at times I might say, I said, okay, I'm not in a position to talk. No, can we talk later? And then you'll have to take time out of it, and then you'll have to call back the children, the child, and then give her hope. You have to understand what she needs, and then you'll have to give that. Kids are okay. Sometimes what I feel is the biggest challenge that comes from our adults, actually. So, so when you are running, and last year, 2 years ago, what happened was we had the flood situation in 2015. So that was the time. Usually we keep our scale to a minimal, because we know we are a part-time NGO, and there is certain to extent to we can go. You cannot really work with 100 schools, because that is not what you want to do. You want to do that. I have a normal job. I can have a vacation. I can go to a movie. I can go to a hotel. I can do whatever that I want. Yet I can serve the society. So 2 years ago, we had a situation where someone actually, talked to me saying that, you sent the donation receipts to, hundreds of people, but you missed me. So I had to really convince them, saying that there is a challenge, but you are not supposed to get perturbed, but it happens because when you are passionate, someone tells something, you get affected. So it's all about again going back to the thing where you say that my mentors, what they have gone through. One thing that I have seen always is anyone who has been really selfless, even done much more than what we are all have achieved, they are always criticized. Criticism is always there, and if you let that affected, especially if you had seen the session where Dr. Sivadana Pillai spoke about Dr. Kalam, he gave us a lot of insights into the other side of Dr. Kalam and how many things that he faced. I think that was a great session that we had, one of the greatest sessions that I have ever attended. The things that he gave, where Sivadana Pillai sir spoke about Dr. Kalam. I think the challenges that the great man had faced. If anyone else of us would have faced, we would have run away actually. So challenges are always going to be there. It will affect you. Take a minute for that. Just get affected for that 1 minute, and then say bye bye, and then leave it and then move on. I think that's the only way we can progress.
True. So it is true that failures are stepping stones of success, right? It's not a cliche, but it is true.
Yep.
So, when we're talking about, so many students that you reach out to, I'm curious. So, how many students, have been benefited out of the volunteering that you all do, and how many centers? Because you did mention taking like 13 schools so far. So, how many centers, that you're associated with, and do you have plans to expand them? I know there are three different questions, but
Yeah. So the first thing I will take the thing. What we decided was how do I actually reach out to the rural students? That's where we wanted to do. So I will take the first question about how many volunteers we have, and then the beneficiaries, and then I will take it. So when we talk about volunteers, we are talking about part-time volunteers. There is no going to be a full-time someone who is going to look at no employees, right? So volunteers as such, if you see, we have different level of events as such. We have something like a whole day home visit where people go. We go and meet the elders, and then we serve them food. We spend time with them. This happens every month, and then we reach out to the school children where we go and do this educational event, and then we bring them to Chennai as a part of the educational tour, and then we give these children, the exposure to corporate life. We take them to Birla Planetarium, the metro ride, the simple one, even if you see, for us, which we do as a thing, the entire day would be made for the children when they do that metro ride. So at the different level of things, you have different volunteers. So there are people who come for this one-time event and then they actually contribute. And then there are someone who are dedicated, who comes and teaches you week after week. And then there are someone who will come, who will be ready to give something monetarily. So if you look at that, in the last 17 years we have been able to do whatever that we do, because we have 5,000 plus volunteers across who are at any point of time will be there to help us. Dedicated at each centers. If you talk about Chennai, we have 30 people who are the core people who will be there around. Same way in Bangalore, same way in Mumbai. So these are the people who keep doing the groundwork, and there are of course the friends, the core of trustees and others who live abroad, and due to their work nature and living at many places. So all of them contribute. So that's about volunteers. It's not about anyone. In fact, what happens is when you have a professional angle, like how we do, the network expands. So when we go and meet a customer, and when we start working with them, they also become friends and becomes Dream India members, because what I have seen is everybody wants to help others. That is the inherent nature of human being. So when they see that here is someone who is saying that you give me 100 rupees, the entire 100 rupees goes to the children or the kid. Nothing is going to be taken about, and you can see the transparency. You can see that happening things. They feel that it's the right choice that they are making, and it helps us to grow the volunteers, number of volunteers. About the beneficiaries, in a year we work with 13 schools. That is about Tamil Nadu alone. Then if you see in Bangalore, we have started the community libraries last year. One of our co-founders and trustees, Varun, he started the community library and it is going great. Now today, the community library children, we are enabling them by providing laptops. People are willing to donate laptops to them and help them educate. And in Mumbai as well, we have quite a lot of things that we have. So when we talk about this beneficiary, I would like to take a moment and then show you a video which actually give you a glimpse of what it is. So you can hear from the children itself.
Sure,
I'll just
sure.
yeah,
I think it'll have a real impact while doing so.
yes,
Hello everyone, this is Jaya. I work as a cybersecurity engineer at a US MNC in Chennai. I met Dream India team back in the year 2004 when I was in fifth grade in Mumbai. My family and I were living in a economically challenged area in Mumbai's pipeline, and my parents were finding it really hard to cope with providing for us and our education at the same time, with the help of a small milk business that they had. That's when the Dream India team came in and offered to help us by providing for my education. Since then, the volunteers visited us very regularly and they taught me right from basic stuff like how to use a dictionary or how to articulate myself until helping me with the preparations for my placements in my final year of engineering. They are the reason I developed an interest in reading books while growing up. After completing my high school, I expressed an interest in pursuing engineering. My parents received a lot of backlash from people saying it's not wise to invest in a girl child's education. But the Dream India team was really supportive of my decision and they got me through college. They motivated me, they kept a regular check on my academic performances and celebrated all my achievements. In my final year of engineering, I got placed at Infosys through campus placements, and the job really helped me uplift not only me but our entire family of four. Being a boy or a girl doesn't uh, decide on all the possibilities of what one can achieve. And no matter how difficult it was, never giving up was the key. I owe it all to Dream India team and my supportive parents for all that I am today. Natarajan Anna, Padmajaka, and Varun Anna have been a constant source of motivation. They inspired me to be a change agent and give it back to the society. Currently, I volunteer at the weekly classes for students in Kannaginagar, Chennai, and I'm also mentoring a few Dream India Mumbai students. And I want to thank Dream India for all the time today. Together we can, together we should. Hello everyone, this is Jaya. I work as a cybersecurity engineer.
Wow, this is amazing, and it is a live testimonial like and I think the
Ye-
most important part is this student not only was a beneficiary, she's also giving back. So this actually shows that change agents or whoever we create, we are multiplying them. And yes, the best curd example was given. So one last question to you, Natasha, before I open the session to public for question and answer. So definitely, there will be times when you feel demotivated or discouraged. So how do you handle it? I definitely know, yes, testimonial like that would really, make your day. So how do you
yeah,
feel? How do you handle those situations?
yeah. That's a right thing that you said. Having someone like this. The best thing about the journey that we had in Dream India is about the children whom we work with, and the number of sisters and brothers whom we have made in this journey. So I would like to take a moment to talk about Jaya. Jaya, we met her in 2004 in Mumbai, and she was a small kid, and we did our best because our parents were amazing, actually, such a hardworking people, and all that that girl, the kid wanted was a level playing field, and we were fortunate. God chose us to give that level playing field, and once she got that level playing field, she performed very well, and today the best thing about her is we have so many children like Jaya who give back. I'll talk about Jiva Jyoti, one of our kids from Adaya 2008, whom we taught, and today she started the Kannagi Nagar classes. Kannagi Nagar is a housing board area in Chennai, and she started the classes for weekend classes for the children. And so Ashwini, we have Aruna, and then Navneethan. And we have people like Mr. Vinod, so many of these children, Vignesh. I can keep going. These children who are all small kids, whom we interacted with, whom I took classes personally. Today they are coming and volunteering along with us to teach the children. So that's at times you feel that you are growing old only by seeing them, because you see them, whosoever you taught is coming today and then teaching children. I think this is a fantastic moment as such as to share in life, especially this moment when Jaya Sundari called us. I was outside with my family attending a reception. I still remember that day evening. She calls and tells us, Anna, I got placed in Infosys, and you feel like going back and looking at it, 16 years. 16 years you nurture a small sapling and then it grows and then it becomes a thing. I think much more happier is that she, when I personally sat with her at Kanaginagar, and I could see her sitting next to me and teaching children, so Jiva Jyoti and so others. I thought that was a great, one of the greatest moments in life where you feel, yes, there are youngsters and these are the children who are going to take it forward. And I feel, the best thing about is the change, about how we take it forward, and it's really happening.
True, I should say it should have been a proud, satisfying, and a promising moment for you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All emotions together, mixed together.
Yeah, yes.
Fantastic. So now we're moving to questions. Okay, so my first question, I really, I see this to be really amazing. So people always find themselves being time poor. So how does one manage time well? I think that would be my question as well for you.
How about managing time? I think everything in life we have to give priority. Based on priority, we do. So at times I feel that it is very much possible. I feel, do we really need to go that extra yard and visit that school? But the moment I think about, what would be the impact that it can happen, because God is giving you some thought. He's asking us to, can you go and then see something, do something, and when you do that, right, when you go and visit the children. For example, I'm talking about a very recent case. There was one family, Mr. Palani, who's living in Kadalur village, referred by one of our mentors, Mr. Enangalin Sangamam, JP. JP sir gave the reference. These kids and a family, they were suffering. We through our volunteers we could help them. The best thing about was not talking to that elder person, the children whom you are. When they spoke to me on the phone, they were like, so they don't even know that, we have sent money or anything, they are not expecting anything at all. But they were so happy talking to someone on the phone, and then, they were feeling happy. That is what, is the biggest thing. And I feel that is one of the biggest things that we are missing due to Corona. We go and meet children and then we be with them, and that, the energy and joy that they give, that's when we think that, how do I prioritize? I think, if I'm going to take this call and if I'm going to look at this application that I've got, it's going to impact future of a particular child. And that's, I think, where each of us have to see how I can do something for that particular kid. I think the moment you start looking what can I give for others, as Dr. Kalam said, you grow, it gives you much more comfort. You start looking at things in a different way. You start thinking that, my problems are very, very small, which is really true, because the problems that are being faced, we take so many things for granted in life. Whatever that we take for granted is actually some kids are earning for, whether they will kid, so. And I thought, that is a best way to manage time. If you really want to bring smile to someone, I think you will be able to find time.
So your priorities, as you say.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring smile, yes, you can. So I have another question here. So what should be the minimum age for one to start giving back?
The minimum age, minimum age to give back, yeah, minimum age to give back is, I would say, very as soon as the kid starts coming up, because I'm just recounting, whatever that I have faced in life. I talked about, Sai Srinath, one of the kids, one of my colleagues' own kid. I never expected him to come for classes, to be quite honest. Okay, so what he thought was, these guys are doing something. They're going to Adia Corporation School. They're going to teaching. He himself came and said, I want to be part of it. And then when he came, it is not a one-time thing. When he came, he was coming regularly, and then he comes and contributes to the children. So he's about 5, 6 years old. Same way you talk about, the children here in Vasantham. When I talk about, I cannot be without talking about Vasantham because the way the children here are, they are one of the one of the motivating things or the best thing that I've seen is we have two children, okay, the two child, and with these two children, both of them are special kids, okay. One can understand the things little better. The other one is not. She's not being able to eat on her own. Now there was a birthday celebration. The cake was distributed. Nobody told the other kid who was sitting nearby who can eat on her own. The first thing she did was she took the cake and fed the other one who is not able to eat. And then later she took and then she had her own piece. I was like, can I think a normal human being like us, would not do that. We would be more focusing about, can I get one more piece of the cake, because it's tasty and all this. But if you look at the children, Vasantham children, the love, they don't have. I cannot really understand how we can call them, they are not having the growth or anything, whatever that we talk about. I think we are not being able to understand them. So, when I walk out in the morning to the office, I see, Saravanan, one of the kids, he's same age as me. He stands on the balcony and then, he just looks back, things relax. And I, hey, here, this guy, I'm running around here, going, this guy is cool. He does not have to really, do anything to anyone. He's calm, he's in his own world. I think, Vasantham children and their age, so there is no age barrier as such. People can come at any point of time. I think by motivating young children to come forward, it really helps them. And taking this opportunity because it's something that I consider as a privilege. I would also like to tell one more thing. People always think that if you put your kid put them with along special children, the children will get affected, or what is going to be the impact and all this. I'm telling you, I was also thinking the same thing. Okay, before 2008. Okay, I had the same thing that I used to look at kids how they are and all this, because if you see, I was not part of the Vasantham stream any point of time before that. But when I started coming in and I started seeing this, the testimonial I want to tell is, my own kids, two kids are living with them, they are being brought up with them. And I'm telling you, I'm very proud today because if I had any other choice, they have 135 friends with them all the time whom they can play with. So, never ever say that discriminate children saying that they are special kids. I don't want my children to mingle with them. If you let them mingle, I'm telling you, you are going to gain. And this is where I want to thank all the 13 schools who give that inclusive education chance for these children. And that's where they become the overall champions in 2019. So age is not a barrier. The ability that you have is not a barrier. It's all within us, the limitations that we set.
Wow, and I must say, 135 children in the same place where you're living. Wow, your children are blessed, Natasha.
Thank
Amazing.
you. Thank you.
So I will take one last question here because, okay, time for us to wrap up. Okay, so are there any particular habits you may recommend to create a change within oneself and in the society? Habits, okay. Now we're going to, so people want to start being change agents, I see. So,
Okay. Habits as such, I think the main motive is always, have one purpose, because in any point in time, in any point in life, you cannot satisfy anyone. Okay. If you are going to try and satisfy anyone in life, whomsoever it is, you will fail. So this is what Mr. Kamath also tells me. I keep that in my mind. If you are trying to satisfy everyone, it is not possible. So what you have to keep in mind is always is, the best thing to do is, how am I going to do whatever that I am doing, and how it is going to bring this. So the best habit that I would say is, uh, don't try to satisfy each and everyone that whom you are with. Just go with the stream and always keep Kalam sir's word. What can I do? What can I give? I think if you practice that continuously, which even I am trying, I think I will be able to achieve at some point of time at least. I think that will definitely be a good habit to take, man.
wow. So I must say it has been such an energy-packed, conversation I had, and I wish I can go on and on and on because it is really motivating, inspiring for the viewers and for myself because I'm really feeling pepped up and I feel yes, we can always give as long as we think we can give. So thank you so much for sharing your wonderful experiences, your beautiful pictures with Kalam sir about Vasantham children. I should say it was amazing, Natasha. And you also shared valuable insights on how to, include your workplace and what more, how I would say the whole interview itself was really motivating. And definitely, I'm sure so many people would want to give back because your life itself includes on how you combine your professional, your family, and giving back to the society. So always there is a myth where either or, and you've really broken that myth and you've made it very clear that both can coexist. So thank you so much for that. And also, I would request, after seeing this, I'm very sure there'll be so many people who want to be change agents, and they would want to give back in any form. They would like to take inspiration from you. So how can they get in touch with you, Natasar?
Yeah, we have our website, which is dreamindia.org, and then the phone number, that's mine. So people can reach out, and all I can tell people is, we are not looking for. You can be assured that you will have all the freedom to do whatever that you want within the strengths that you have. We never force people to do that. This is what you have to do. If you are good in certain skills, we try to take that to the children. So we don't force volunteers to change. Rather, the kids always need certain things. So it would be really, great for us to have more volunteers and to take this forward, ma'am. So I would like to thank you and the entire team for this wonderful opportunity, and then thank all those who are who took time to listen to us today. Thank you so much. Together we can, together we should.
We should, definitely we should. And I really hope there will be more and more change agents to make our world a more beautiful and lovely place to live in. Thank you so much, Natasha. And now we have our next program, our Independence Day special program, which would be at 6 p.m. in the same space in the YouTube channel. So we have our eminent scientist of ISRO, Padma Bhushan, Sri Shivadanu Pillai, known as Father of Brahmos missile. And also we have Sri Narendra, former media advisor to Prime Ministers of India. He served four Prime Ministers from Sri Narasimha Rao to Sri Vajpayee. We have both of them in our show. Please don't miss it. It's going to be another inspiring session as well. And next week, same time and same space, we have our episode 5 on more about National Institute of Open Schooling, NIOS, by Sri P. Ravi, former Regional Director for Regional Center in Chennai. So until then, it is your Sukruti signing off from Australia. Happy Independence Day once again, and together we